Old Dominion University remains closed after a former National Guard soldier opened fire inside a classroom, killing one and injuring two others. That attack being investigated as an act of terrorism. Police confirm an ROTC instructor was killed, and students were the ones who subdued and killed the gunman. Thanks for joining us here at 5. I'm Julie Bragg.
And I'm Bill Fitzgerald. The FBI identified the gunman in yesterday's shooting as 36-year-old Mohamed Jalloh. Jalloh, a former Virginia National Guardsman, pled guilty in 2016 to providing support for ISIS, apologizing at that time, saying he was disgusted by the terror group. He was sentenced to 11 years before being released early in December 2024 after completing a drug treatment program. Jalloh was a current online student at Old Dominion. The Justice Department has charged a man who authorities say sold a gun to Jalloh despite his previous conviction in that terrorism case. The FBI says Jalloh walked into an ROTC classroom and opened fire.
There were students that were in that room that subdued him and rendered him no longer alive. If not for them, I'm not sure, what else he may have done.
Lieutenant Colonel Brandon Shaw was killed in the shooting. A native of Stanton, Shaw enlisted in the Army in 2003 and later graduated from ODU, where he earned his commission. He went on to fly hundreds of combat hours as an Army aviator before returning to campus in 2022 to help lead and instruct the ROTC Monarch Battalion. Friends who trained with him nearly 2 decades ago say he never lost that mission. And they say the loss is hard to understand, especially after he survived serving in war zones overseas.
You know, when something tragic like this happens, to be able to hang your hat knowing that you died doing what you love and you made a great impact is a fantastic thing.
One student who was shot is still in critical condition. The other was treated and released.
As we mentioned, Jalloh was sentenced to 11 years for his association with ISIS, but federal prosecutors had asked for nearly double that. Our Melissa Hipplet looked at court transcripts to understand why.
Back in 2017, prosecutors recommended that Mohamed Jalloh serve a sentence of 20 years behind bars for attempting to provide material support to a designated foreign terrorist organization. But Judge Liam O'Grady chose a sentence that was quite a bit lower. He sentenced Jalloh to 11 years behind bars with 5 years of supervised release. Jalloh was released on December 23rd of 2024. A little over a year later, he opened fire on a classroom at Old Dominion University. An Army ROTC instructor was killed. The FBI is investigating the shooting as an act of terrorism. We took a look at the sentencing transcript to try to get an idea of the judge's thinking at the time relating to Jalloh's sentence. Judge O'Grady told Jalloh, "You had a terrible upbringing and you were able to overcome that and come here and become a naturalized citizen and go to college and work and join the National Guard. And then you took a 90-degree turn and radicalized very quickly. You have no criminal history and you have been a law-abiding citizen and a member of the National Guard." O'Grady said he thought the sentence should reflect the good things you have done as well as the horrendous things. He said Jalloh's offense was really troubling because he was willing to take significant steps to support ISIL even though he had spent 6 years in the National Guard. He said it was really hard to understand the offense when looking at Jalloh's background, and as a result, it merits a very significant sentence to deter others. Here's CBS 6 legal analyst Todd Stone.
In this case, I think the judge considered the fact that he had no prior criminal history, that he had served in the National Guard for 6 years, that he had provided information to the FBI upon his arrest. There was a psychological assessment that said he was a low risk for a future violent act. All these things combined, it made the judge, I think, decide, well, this is an appropriate sentence, and gave him 11 years.
Another piece to this, Judge O'Grady noted that the sentencing guidelines actually recommended a sentence far larger than the 20 years the feds recommended. But a federal law caps the maximum sentence for attempting to provide material support to a designated foreign terrorist organization at 20 years.
So if people disagree with a 20-year maximum for this particular offense, the people they need to take that up with are in Congress. The judge has no control over that whatsoever.
Todd Stone told me that judges are humans and no human being is actually able to predict what somebody is going to do in the future. He said they have to make a decision just based on the information they have at the time, and that's a really hard thing to do. I'm Melissa Hippolyte for CBS 6.
Jalloh completed a drug program and had served 8.5 years when he left prison in 2024 under a supervised release. That's a federal program designed to help offenders reintegrate while preventing new crimes. Our Tyler Lane explains the conditions of that release.
Part of Mohamed Jalloh's sentence included 5 years of supervised release, according to court documents. So since he got out of prison in 2024, he would have been subject to a supervision order at the time of Thursday's shooting. We wanted to find out, though, a little bit more about what that actually meant.
Frequently, when people leave prison, they need additional supervision, further checks, further regulations on their behavior. So in Jalloh's case, he was told there's a whole series of things you can't do, there's a whole series of things you have to do, and violation of those means that he may go back to prison to serve additional time.
In Jalloh's case, court transcripts show the special conditions of his supervised release included that he was barred from associating with any terrorist organization, that he participated in substance abuse and mental health treatment, and that he comply with the requirements of a computer monitoring program. Dr. William Pelfrey, a professor of criminal justice and homeland security at VCU, says usually the responsibility is on the defendant to provide updates to probation officers, and that some requirements, like computer monitoring, can be easily circumvented.
But you can get around it just by borrowing somebody's phone, borrowing somebody's tablet, buying a burner phone, or buying an additional tablet and not reporting to your probation officer that you're using it.
New court documents filed on Friday say that Jalloh's probation officer visited his residence in Sterling every 6 months and reported the last visit happened in November 2025. Considering that Jalloh was subject to this supervision at the time he carried out this shooting, would you say that the supervision was ineffective?
Supervised release leads to recidivism rates of about 50% after 8 years. So all probation, parole, and supervised release systems have serious inefficiencies. There's just not enough resources.
He says it's difficult to evaluate the efficacy of federal supervision for those convicted of terrorism-related crimes, as most spend much more time in prison than Jalloh did. Would you say it would be very hard to prevent something like this?
It's impossible to prevent it. No matter what degree of supervision you exercise, people can always find ways to get around it. Unless you have somebody monitoring a supervised release suspect 24 hours a day, they will find ways to pursue their interests.
Now, I asked the chief of the U.S. Probation Office for the Eastern District of Virginia, Paul Arnett, whether Jalloh was compliant with his supervision order. He told me that he could not comment on the specifics of this case. Here at the federal courthouse, I'm Tyler Lane for CBS 6 News.
Several Virginia schools reported bomb threats today. That includes the University of Virginia, George Mason, Randolph-Macon, Longwood, and Bridgewater College. The threats were all made against the campus libraries, and all were immediately evacuated. No bombs were discovered.